We are recording.
Okay, Becca, could you describe your child to us?
Yes, my daughter's name is Aviva, and she's almost 6 years old, and she was born with a lot of health issues, including hearing loss. She's deaf in one ear, hard of hearing in the other. She has vision impairment in both ears. She couldn't eat for several years, so she had a feeding tube. She had a breathing tube for 4 years, balance impairment, and a paralyzed vocal cord. So she had a really rough start in life.
What about her personality?
The most determined, stubborn, feisty little girl you've ever met. Yes.
How did you find out about the program here at the preschool?
So when she was born, and she was in the NICU for 3 months, when we came home, we were hooked up with the Hope Infant Program, which is the early intervention program. And we had a teacher come to our house once a week to work with us. And when she was 2, our teacher told us about the Fantastics program, which is the 2-year-old program here at the preschool. And she told me that it was a program for 2-year-olds, and that there was an inclusion program with it. And so that's how I got into the school in the first place. And then we ended up staying on for the preschool part of it for 3- and 4-year-olds.
Well, when you came to the program, what attracted you to it besides the recommendation from your Hope teacher?
They wanted my daughter. This was not my first choice. We're Jewish. We're not Presbyterian or even Christian. So my hope for her was that she would have gone to the Jewish preschool where my son had gone. I would never have considered, before she was born, going to a Christian preschool. They didn't want my daughter. We went to talk to them, and they thought that her needs were too much. She didn't walk till she was 3.5, and when we went there when she was 3, she was only crawling, and they were afraid that she'd get run over on the playground, and they were too scared of her. And talking to Patty, they're like, we want her. The fact that someone wanted my child, and not just wanted her, but loved her and embraced her, it was the best decision I ever made. And I never felt anything but a sense of love and community at this school.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you had to share a story about your child, I know there's probably many positive experiences, but can you think about a story, an experience that you've had that really stands out to you?
Here at the preschool? Gosh, there's so many. A story, it's not even going to sound ordinary, but to me it was extraordinary, was when she was 4 and it was Halloween, and they dress up in their costumes and they do a little pageant around the preschool courtyard. And she was dressed up like Snow White that year. And I was watching with the other moms, and there comes her class, and there's Aviva, little Snow White, walking, and she just started walking, 6 months beforehand, in part of the pageant. And it was such a crystallized moment that she's a typical kid. She's not a typical kid, but she is a typical kid. And she was just one of the kids, one of the many kids in costume. It doesn't sound extraordinary talking about it, but to me as a mom, just seeing your child doing something that every other child is doing, they don't make any special provisions for her. They just put her in as one of the kids. But they include her. They include her.
Have you had any issues or concerns about anything concerning Aviva, and how was it addressed by the staff here?
I had no issues or concerns.
Really?
None. I was here for 3 years.
That's great.
Yeah. The staff was amazing. The teachers were great. The kids were great. I honestly have nothing negative to say about the preschool.
What kind of impact do you think that Aviva had on her classmates, especially her typically developing classmates?
I'd like to think that they were more compassionate. She was in a class with another child with hearing loss and a child in a wheelchair. The kids didn't look at her or the other kids as being different. They were just accepted. Oh, there's Aviva. Oh, she has a piece of plastic in her throat. Oh, there's this child who's in a wheelchair. I'd like to think that all the children that go through this school are more compassionate and more empathic.
As far as how Aviva's doing now, how was the transition out of the program into the schooling experience that she's having now?
Easy. She's in kindergarten right now, and in a public school, and the kids love her. She fit in easily, And she was already prepared for, circle time and lining up and the stuff that, preschool would prepare her for.
So it's been a smooth transition.
For me, it has been.
That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
If you were to speak with parents who are looking for a program, whether they have children who have special needs or who are typically developing, how would you describe kind of the essence of what this program has been for you and your family?
Could we stop it for a second?